if, of course, probably how would you identify a pattern? Fail fast, just let a particular color shift around, see what is the load that it can carry, and then you go ahead and run with the others. But I don't know, it could be my bias. I saw that there were one or two examples where whatever pattern was, that was not, it was not, that color shift was not matching that pattern, it sunk earlier.
So your pattern guess was wrong.
Yes, it was probably wrong. So ambiguity that comes into.
And when you are making continuous wrong decisions, what happened to your confidence?
Yeah, it really was.
What happened to your risk appetite? And then what happened to your score?
Score also.
But are we learning after that? Are we? This is the whole crux of the game. The best of us, the best of you, failed. Isn't it? Your boss, there are no boss in the office, I know that, but still failed. The whole point here being, the best of us are always failures. Understand that. Those who have got the lowest score, this is for you. The best of us are always failures. That's the reason they have become the best. That's what they have learned every time. They have got a chance to learn every time that they went through these failures. And the other dimension, let's look at the other dimension as well. When I started the whole exercise, I was only looking for success, isn't it? I was only asking for the winner. I was asking who is going to be the winner with the top score. Never did I told you about, you know what, it's okay to fail, it's okay to win. That's what we were doing in our life, isn't it? We were always driven by this culture of winner. You have to be winner. No one tells about, okay, it's okay to fail, but you have to learn from that. And it happened to all of us that the top guys of the room were not the winners. But they are the best critics. They understood about themselves from this whole exercise. Maybe not the toppers. Maybe or may not be, but maybe. So this is where we'll start the whole journey today. This whole game is built to understand. So let us analyze the game as well. Since you have played the game, let's understand how this game is built as well. In the beginning, as someone said, there is no pattern in the whole game, isn't it? But there is pattern. There is. We designed the pattern. We know where which ship with what capacity comes. Like the Brahma knows what is going to happen next, but you call it luck. And we are the Brahma here. We are the creators. So we know. But you don't know. But for you to realize what is really happening there, maybe you need to spend a lot of time in it. Unfortunately, you were not given enough time to figure that out. Now, those who make these decisions, in the beginning, everyone has the same enthusiasm. Irrespective of where you have started in your career or where you are in your career. The enthusiasm is the same. Most important aspect of the game. When you started, you haven't found the pattern. You start with the whole enthusiasm. But we designed the game for you to fail in the beginning. And that continuous failure has slowly brought down your risk appetite. Especially when you're playing to win. When you're playing to achieve the top score, you don't want to take a risk. Now you're playing to win. And those who have not played to win, or let me try. Maybe they are the ones who got lucky. And in this journey, you should also understand something. There are people who just impulsively went on to make decisions without thinking. Now these are people with no risk appetite, or I would say they are different type of people. So they're chilled. But in the first set, those who have completely got down with their risk appetite, they are risk averse people. They are the people who have the most self-control. So for some jobs, when it is not about making the top score, but when it's about taking the most self-control when you're negotiating, they are the right people. They don't take a decision fast. They wait, they observe, they wait. There are people, when we started announcing the scores, you know what, someone got 10, someone got 18, they realize, you know what, I think there is more scope. Let me take more risk now. So these are people who critically analyze by observing around, by observing their own way of behavior, and then go deeper. And those are the ones, the laters are the ones who got the highest score, isn't it? Because they know, they're observing. That's what the advantage the next generation has got. They saw Steve Jobs, they know what they have done right and wrong, and they start from there. So when you have your juniors at your office, that's good, that's a boom. Because they are the ones who are learning from you already, and they start from there. The young ones. And if I keep going that way, this particular game does a lot more things. This was derived from a concept called, it's a very traditional concept from the poker game, which was used globally by all the psychologists to understand the risk appetite of the leadership team. In the big companies, just by small exercise like this. Cool? Now let's start from here, the journey of my own. I'll take you through my own journey. I'll connect back to some of those learnings I have from my own journey and bring you back. Exactly 11 and a half years ago, I came across this number, 1,50,732. My AAA rank. Now there's no more AAA, so good for me. And a couple of weeks later, I came across another number, 49,563. MSET. My batchmates, with whom I went to sick room, chilled, never went to college classes, etc., out of 800 of the college, 400 went to IITs. 400 of my friends went to IITs. Another 200 went to top class NITs. The rest of the 200, the other 100 went to MSET. You know where I am. That's where I went. That's where I started my journey 11 years ago. Today, where have I come? This 2-minute video will give you a glimpse of where I have come today. Please.
I come from a very small village, so we literally had limited access to technology. But the moment I find some access to them, I was so curious to just jump onto it, rip it off, and then try to put it back. That's my relationship with technology. All of this was all about curiosity and recognition. Today what happens is, there's a lot of youth out there who want to do big things, but because of the lack of exposure, they couldn't get there. Only the privileged who are exposed are getting access to such content. Perspective AI is typically made to solve the problems of current talent management. The HR comes onto the web platform that we have. He creates an assessment based on what role he's interviewing for and selects the modules relevant to that and deploys it to the candidate. The candidate goes into the room, gets to play these games and simulations, and once the candidate is done with this, the HR again will get a very detailed, insightful report of whether this person is a suitable person for the role or not. If not, what's the gap and how can you bridge this gap? So if I have to say what is the best takeaway for us from the India Innovation Hub, it's the sales and the marketing part. We came across a huge barrier. This is about how can we scale this with limited good trainers and limited resources. You need to have a dream to do, is what I believe. And the way we chose to get there is through technology.
This year, Facebook covered us. They took us to F8 conference in the Valley. And this was the video made about us and presented there. All of this happened in 11 years. So what is the whole crux of this journey? This 11-year journey is going to be the essence of the next 20 to 30 minutes. What were the ups? What were the downs? Where were the core lessons? When you especially rely upon people, what can you expect and what you cannot expect? When you rely upon luck, what can you expect and what you cannot expect? But when you rely upon purpose and passion with the right attitude, what can you expect and what you cannot? Are going to be the prime essence of the next 20-30 minutes. Are you all geared up for that? Great. So, as I said, that's where my ranks ended. And very, very soon, all these guys who went to these IITs joined first. And they started coming back on to Facebook. Those days it wasn't Facebook even, it was Orkut, the scrapbook. And they were posting on the scraps saying that, you know what, today we had this professor from Stanford, today we had the seniors who have taken us to this laboratory of mechatronics where we played with Snake Robot. And what was I doing in a small village? Nothing much. That's when I decided, you know what, my next 4 years I have to do something different. Whatever I've done in the past, it's okay. I think it's a new start for me. Let's start. Luckily that year, Geetham became a private university in Vizag. Because it was a private university first batch, I got an easy entry. I walked in. It's a huge campus. For the first time I went to a city. With a beach, with hills, with beautiful girls. The moment when I started walking into the gate, huge gate, believe me, great paths, great trees, I said, this is my chance. I met people there. Seniors, batchmates, went slowly on the track which I was not intending to. My first semester, I had a backlog. Attendance was 60, no assignment submitted. Second semester, worse. There was no bag even, a book in the back pocket, walk in the class. That was the age. You were inspired by different elements. Like anyone, I was in the same track. I went into that track. The second year happened, I was in mechanical engineering. So people say, you know, mechanical professors are rod professors. So they are the hardcore psychos. That's what they say. I experienced differently, but yeah. So I said, anyway, it's a psycho professor. What would I gain if I get in? So first 1 month I have never even walked in because there were no girls in the class as well. Mechanical students, you know. So I never walked in. But one day I had to, so I walked in. And typically when I walk in, I don't prefer these chairs. I was always in the back. And the best way for us to mass bunk is always to get down and sing the happy birthday song. The professors will understand, okay. Sometimes they leave, sometimes they don't. But we try. We have to. That day I was just about to get down. And then walks this professor. White shirt, blue jeans, white Nike shoes, Ray-Ban glasses, a hip bag, a couple of books, and his hair looks like Einstein's hair. So thin. He walks up. I was like, "Aaj to kuch bakra mil gaya." And then this professor walked in and said, "You know, let me tell you a story today." I was like, this is not what I expected from a rod professor in mechanical department. So let's listen to the story and then call for the mass bunk. So the professor started the story. The story went on for 45 minutes. I never realized that. Right before the bell rang, he turned back, went to the board, scribbled something, came back and said, you know what? End of chapter 1. See you tomorrow. What? End of chapter 1? Just by the story? And the story he said was very interesting. He teaches us material science, the nanomaterials, the composites, etc., etc. So the subject was all about, there was this airplane in 1940s, and in those days the airplanes were all designed with the regular rectangular windows, just like our buses. And these airplanes, after some time, they started blasting in midair and crashing down. No one realized where the problem was. Later, when the forensics team sat back on exercising, on implement, checking where the real problem is, they realized this airplane is like a balloon. Pressurized air in the cabin. And any balloon bursts when someone pokes it with a small hole. And that hole for this airplane started at the edge, the corner of the window, because that's where the crack started propagating. And with that lesson, our James Bonds changed the design of airplane windows to the shapes what we see today. And the first chapter of that particular subject, the subject was crack propagation. And he said, directly and indirectly, cracks propagate from sharp corners. And that's the story he shared with us. I was like, super. That day, I decided whether I come to college or not, whether I go to any other class or not, I'll attend this one professor's class. And I started doing that. Now there is a problem with our brain, fundamental problem with our brain. What is that? We typically don't listen to things. But when you start listening to things, the doubts come out, isn't it? Why this? Why not that? No. How can that happen? It happened to me. Control, because I can't ask, because people know me as the rod guy in the class. So I can't ask. But eventually you can't control anymore. So one day I went down to the professor's chamber. I said, sir, I have a doubt. Who are you? Sir, I am so and so from your class. I never saw you. You know. It went well. Next week, the whole next week, almost for a month, we were having these conversations. I was just debating with this guy. One fine day, he called me, Jignesh. Yes, sir. Take this 1,000 rupees. Okay? Get me this list of things. Sure. No problem. There was some change left. Sir, change. No, keep the change, Jignesh. What? Keep the change. I was like, do you think I'm a butler? Sir, no, I don't want the change. No, keep the change. This is your stipend. What? Stipend. So what is stipend? That's where I come from. What is stipend? From today, you are my teaching assistant, and this is going to be your stipend from now on. Okay, what do I need to do, sir? I'll tell you later. Next day, he called me to the chamber after 5 o'clock, and he started reading out material and asked me to type the material. I was typing in, and random subjects. But I was listening to what he was saying and learning random subjects, interesting subjects. A month passed. One fine day he called me, Jignesh. Yes, sir. I don't feel like taking class tomorrow. Very well, mass bunk. No. Why don't you take the class tomorrow? What? Why don't you take the class tomorrow? I was like, sir, when my friends come onto the stage, I know what kind of meow and bow I do. So I don't want to do that. No, Jignesh, I'm not asking you. I'm not asking you. 10 o'clock tomorrow. It's 3:30 in the afternoon. The pity is, I don't even know what is the prescribed textbook. So for the first time in the 2 years, I had to walk into this huge building in the campus where I never entered, called. And then they showed us, I was trying to walk in, they stopped me. What? ID card. ठीक I walked in. There are 4 floors, I don't know where these books are. I went to someone, sir, where is mechanical second? Second year, kocho telisavada? Sorry sir, go there. I went there. Those days we don't have a phone. I was using a 1100 and my friends in the hostel doesn't have a phone. So, not much of access. There are a huge bunch of books there. I don't know what to pick out and what chapter to look through. So I remember yesterday's lesson. I took all the books relevant to that, a big table, and started going through them till 11 in the night. That's when they kicked me out. Next morning I walked in, 10 o'clock as usual. I started. I ended. And there was similar silence. This professor was standing in the corner like this. I saw him. No expression. No expressions anywhere. That's when there were 2 girls in the class, by the way. The first girl started clapping. It went on and on and on. For the next 2-3 minutes, it was a rock. I was like the rock star, you know. Inside, of course. That's when I saw this professor. He gave that smile. Beautiful smile I can't forget forever. You know what he has done to me in this whole thing? He gave me my first success. I, for the first time, tasted hard-earned success. Success is like dairy milk silk. You eat once, you want more. I craved for more. Next day I went, sir, tomorrow's class. Go ahead. Sir, tomorrow's class. Go ahead. Sir, Jignesh, please let me do my job. But now this has become a passion. But I realize where my real passion lies now. So I need people, I need audience. My passion needs people. So what do we do now? I again went back to that building. But this time, not to the other floors, but the underground of it. That's where the first years sit and chill. And you know what first years are supposed to do to their seniors, right? So I called all of them together. Forcefully made them listen to me. Next day, the 10 became 40. And since then, I never looked back. I went on to start something called Geetham University Science and Activity Center. In 2011, we made a robot which went to NASA Kennedy Space Center and tried to mine the mineral from this moon's sand called regolith and bring it back to Earth, completely remote controlled from the Earth. In 2012, we again went back, we won the award there, we came back. When we came back, people were celebrating us all around. And that's when our heads rose up again. But this time, a farmer came out to the college, they were introducing us. He asked, what is the use of this to people like us? Very valid point. Our heads went down again. But this time we said, you know what, let's do something for our people. We were so many people now because there are so many people listening to the activities that we were doing there. And that went on to come with one idea where a junior came out and said, you know what, in my village, we have water flowing into sea without being used. Can we use it somehow? We went there, we created a huge turbine, we put it there, and since 2011 August, we have been pumping water to 50 acres around it without electricity from the same canal, with the power from the same canal. And in 2013, we made a solar car in which we traveled across the then Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, 1700 kilometers, 23 days, just on a self-powered solar car. Wanted to take it to agriculture. And from there on, my journey went on to where I am today. But all of this happened because someone saw something which I haven't seen in myself. Pushed me towards that. Made me do it when I was resisting it. And then got me to do what I am and made me realize who I am. And from there on, I never looked back. Most of you might not have faced that first success yet. Success is not about ranks or numbers or something else. You know it when it happens to you. You get that inner joy when it happens to you. You want to do more of it. Whether someone is going to pay you or not, whether you have to do 100 hours of work a week or not, you don't care. But you just want to do that. You just want to do that. And when you do that, you can sleep so damn happily. Now that's how I recognize the definition of success. It could be anything. But there, since then, the journey of failures also started. Success is good. We all talk about success. But let's also speak about the other side of success, because success takes you there, creates that status quo and ego deep inside you, and you are not willing to take the risks anymore because you might compromise that success. So if your client says, you know what, you have done a great work in the last thing, you always want to do it the same way because they liked it. You don't want to compromise, you don't want to take a risk anymore. Now you're not trying anything new. You're like anyone else. That's what happens to most of us who got their first success. Luckily, I was in the same way for the first 1 year after I graduated. I went to Accenture. There were aunties and uncles discussing about Huggies and curries. And I decided to quit. I quit. But then I don't know what to do. That's when my realization of passion helped. Most of us, when you don't know what to do, we just do something because it gives us money or whatever, just because you don't know either your passion or your purpose. It is okay to not know. But when you know that, don't step away from it. So I recognize where my passion is, not purpose yet. My passion is. So I went back and started my first startup at the age of 21 with close to ₹1,00,000 of my savings from my ₹3,00,000 CTC. So I started with my juniors and I burnt all the money in the first 2 months. There's no money left. Now think about this. You are that figure of success to your juniors. You quit your job with all the money. You said, you know what, I'll take care of it. And now you are left with nothing. Now how do you take care of these 10 people who have believed in you and have come so far? We moved to Hyderabad in 2013. For more than a week, we didn't have money for more than a meal for all these 10 guys. We were all in that one small apartment in Attapur, not even coming out, just don't know what to do. But one thing I realized from that journey was, there is this thing called law of attraction. When you so damn want to do it, universe will figure out a way to get it done for you. We got a call, random call. They said, you know what? We are working with Narendra Modi's campaign team. We are 200 young people across all the top universities across the world. We quit our jobs, we came back, and we are looking for good graphic talent, and we saw your page, good work. Would you like to join us? I said, I have a dream. I don't want to work for your dream, but I need money. Are you going to pay me money? I said, yes, why not? So we made the first Narendra Modi's Facebook, Twitter cover pictures, 17 versions of it for 1700 rupees. 1700 rupees. But then we realized, you know what? We have got talent in this. People are liking our work. So from where we started, we quickly pivoted. Let's make this money so that we will survive another week. It was always weekly survival for us. That. So we started making logos. The first logo we sold for 4,000 rupees. In 4 months, we sold our logo at 1 lakh rupees. That journey went on. So we started a wing. So this whole brand was called Dirt 9. Dirt, Maraka. Maraka manchide. And Maraka anniti meeda undi. So we wanted to leave a mark on anything and everything. So that was our essence behind the name Dirt 9. And 9 people were the people who started this. So we said, okay, this will be the separate arm of Dirt 9 called Dirt 9 Designer's Desk. Now let's start ad films. We made our first ad film at 60,000 rupees. Second one 5 lakh. Third one 15 lakhs. All in 1 year. And all ad films are about rice. Sona Masuri rice. One guy liked it, they refer to the next guy, they refer to the next guy. Ad films, done. We learned that. Then we said after 1 year, the passion is missing now again. I know my passion, now I'm not following the passion. We're making money, learning things, but still somewhere that hole is left. So we said, okay, we'll resume the activity on the education side. We'll start doing what we have done in Geetham across the universities and schools. So we started schools. The problem with schools is there is so much to teach and they don't have time to even teach their own syllabus. And they have to find time for us. And all the schools want to give you time on the same day. And now, that's when we first time faced the challenge of scalability. Is there passion? Yes. Is there money? Yes. Is there impact? Very well, yes. But scalability? I couldn't bring people like me for the same money I was charging them. I was charging what, 10,000 rupees or so per month? But to get someone like me for 10,000 rupees, no way. Can I go to 100 schools to make it more? I can't because it's the same day everyone is calling me. That's when we came across the next challenge in business, scalability. I said, okay, this is not scalable. Now this was the biggest struggle of my life. This is not working, but we don't want to quit because we have built it. This is our baby. In life, so many times what happens is, when you put your blood and sweat into something and build it, you don't want to leave it. In a good way or bad way. Sometimes we also do the bad way. We tag ourselves to that so damn tight, we don't want to leave it. We want everyone to come to us for that. We don't want to leave it. We don't want to give that knowledge out. We don't want to leave it. That detachment was something we missed. Attachment very well. Sri Krishna has already said this in Gita. Do the work, don't get attached to that, let the results come and go. We took time to do that and we dispersed the company, we dissolved it. I was 24 then. Now, in this journey, between the time when we were with no money at all left, I got this great opportunity to go get on this train called Jagriti Yatra. Have you heard of this? In 2013, for the first time, I went on this train. They bring 600 young people across the world together on one train, and this train travels from Mumbai to Mumbai, circumferring the whole country in 15 days, taking you to role models, people around, etc., and come back. For the first time, I got a chance to get on this train with full scholarship. I went on. This is a huge learning experience for me because until then, I never traveled on a train for more than 3-4 hours. I was not comfortable with people choking and living together. But here you have to. 7 days, for 15 days, you have to live with the same people in the same compartment with all the smell. I never wanted to use a train toilet because I was afraid. First 3 days I haven't been to a toilet on the train journey. But 4th day I had to. You have your comfort of bed and etc. at your home, but here it's a moving train always. You have to just stick in that small place and then live there for 15 days. This has for the first time brought me out of my comfort zone. We fail a lot of times because we don't even try, because we don't want to get into that zone where we are not comfortable. Failure is not about always starting something and not happening. You not starting itself is a failure. And that happens for a very, very important reason called not getting out of comfort zone. That journey has really, really, really opened my eyes to the comfort zone. And I also realized that how important it is to be humble and have the humility. These two words, I never know the meaning until then. But when I saw those amazing, successful people on the train living just like we were living there and sharing everything that they have got, that's when I realized, you know what? You may grow so damn high, but when you have that humility, that's what makes you a person. That's what I liked about them. So I want to become like them. So when you are setting example to your juniors, this is what they are looking at you. And this is what they'll become by looking at you. That humbleness and humility as something that was really, really with me since 2013. Now the trip ended. But then it opened doors for me that, you know what, now I can live a life with nothing. I don't need a bed. I don't need a house. I don't need anything. So for the first time, I dared to take a backpack with 1500 rupees in the pocket, went to Patancheru, took a coin, tossed it. I said if it comes head, I'll go to the north. If it comes tail, I'll go to the south. It came north. I started my hitchhiking trip, not knowing where I'm going. 2014 February. Just walking on the roads, taking lift from the buses, lorries. We always are afraid of those people, especially after this Disha case and etc. Lorry people are like that. We create these inherent biases among ourselves from the way we were nurtured, from where we come from. They are this, these are that, they are this. But when I really got open to them, in fact, they should be afraid of me because I was with all this beard and a bag right in the middle of the road and they don't know what I might do to them. They have family at home. But they stopped every time. And they offered food every time. They offered everything they have every time. That's when I realized there's no difference between you and them. It's all us. It's all the same. Now, the moment you understand that, you start empathizing with people. When you start empathizing with people, that's when you start making the right relationships. Until then, we are not making relationships. We are having conversations, that's it. Not relationships. I might never talk to those lorry drivers again. I might not even recognize their face again. But the moments that they have left with us will carry with me. I'm going to carry with me till the end. So people is one big lesson I learned. Things will come and go. People is what I have realized. When it closed Dirt 9, we went back. I joined another company and a startup. We were working in the education space. A lot of things were happening. I was now taking my sleep in the journey. What happens is most of the times, especially the people who take risk, they strain themselves. All of this, if you look at this, I don't need to do any of that. I had a job, I can always get a job. I can always ask my parents for money, or I can always kick my juniors out saying that, you know what, you are your own responsibility, I don't care about you. But nothing happened that way, and we started, what can we do about it by taking risk every time there? And at some time in the life, when you're so much into risk, you will get strained, you will be tired, you just want a break. And that was the break for me. I took a break, an year. But that break did not last forever. The passion again started kicking out. I wanted to do this again. So that's when loop reality happened for us, 2016. Facebook came out and said, you know what, March 31st they came out publicly, said, we are launching Oculus for people, consumer version. That's when I realized the scalability of what I was doing earlier can be solved with this device and technology. Can we ask kids in the rural villages where I come from to wear this device and start experimenting with any chemical and any experiment that they want to do in their life? Can we bring kids into this environment and then teach them any subject, multiple subjects in real life situations and simulations? With that dream, we started the company. Now, most of you need to understand this as well. 90% of your dreams will not even start realizing. 5% you had to stop them after you realized some percent of it. And this was one such dream. But just because my dreams were not getting realized, I haven't stopped dreaming. So we pivoted. We said, let's make a cycle out of it. So we made a VR cycling device. So we wear a VR headset, get on the cycle, start cycling. You feel like you are in San Francisco, you are somewhere else, and your wheel gets tightened, your wheel gets loosened always. So this is called Loop Fit. And people loved it. So we thought, now we are on the way to success. Now that's when we went to the investors and to realize that, you know what, none of these investors in India wanted to invest in us after 6 months of wasting time and money. We already wasted 40 lakhs this time. None wanted to invest. We spoke to close to 65 investors, 6 months of time, no luck. What do? Should we wrap it because we have to mitigate the risk risk there? There's already 40 lakhs of loss. So stop loss, close, move on. Or because we lost it there, we have to find our success there itself. So we have to stick back to that and then find what we have to do there. We chose the second path. We again pivoted, and this time with all the learnings that we have from the market, we created Perspect AI. In Perspect AI, every day is a fight. Because we don't even know the subject of psychology. We don't even know the subject of games. We don't even know the subject of graphics, animations, etc. And we don't know HR. I'm a mechanical engineer who failed. But one thing we realized is, if you have the will and wit to learn, you will learn. 2 months we shut the door, we created the whole thing, went out. But we failed big time. We deployed this product on the advisory team of senior advisors of all the partners of PwC. We failed big time. They said, you know what, this is good like a game, but it is not giving us the results that we expect. One thing I always believed is, if you want to achieve great things, you should be willing to fail greatly as well. So 6 months again we had to shut down door. Reevaluating things, build things. And that's when we launched it to market, and today it's been 1 year. We're working with companies like Accenture, Virtusa, St. Gobain, Schneider's, IT Villas, etc. And now we are accelerated by Facebook. Now we're moving forward in different directions that way. We already raised 500K in funding, and things are in good place. That's what I thought until a month ago. That's what I thought. Last month, 2 of my co-founders quit. One co-founder just wrote an email and left to the US next day because his wife doesn't want to be in India. He got married the last week. No conversations in between. An email. Next day he's on a flight to the US, and we never saw the face again. Now we have investors to talk to. Now we have customers to talk to. The company is growing. Now we have team to handle. Now we have people to handle. That's the fight I'm going through right now, as you see. So one thing for sure is, if you are trying to do something, there is going to be pain always attached to it. If I'm speaking to you right now, I have pain attached to it inside. But this pain makes it more memorable when you really come out of it, either successfully or what otherwise people call it. How many of you know Charles Goodyear? The Goodyear tires. You all know the Goodyear tires, right? Charles Goodyear was trying to create the greatest thing in the century, and that was a hard rubber. Until then, for the first time they found rubber in the America, from the Americans, Native Americans. But this rubber is so damn soft. In the winter, it is brittle and breaks, and in summers it melts. And all the tires, etc., were all going out waste. And no one could make it harder. So this guy took that as a mission. You know what? Whatever the world might say, whatever the success I might receive, let me figure this out. 16 years. Still no luck. He couldn't even afford the books of his kids. In fact, he had to sell the books of his kids to feed them. One fine day, out of frustration, literally out of frustration, he threw this piece of rubber that he was working with and went out. But he's an entrepreneur, he's a creator, he can't leave his things, right? So he came back. When he came back, that's when he saw the rubber hardened. What happened? He just threw, that's it. But what happened after he threw? This rubber went and fell in the kitchen where there was a big pan in which the cooking was happening, an empty pan, hot pan. It went and fell in it. It went and fell in that. Now that pan had a coating of sulfur. And that's where the concept of vulcanization of rubber came into picture. Induce a little bit of sulfur into the rubber, at some heat, it becomes hard. And that became Goodyear tires today. Today, if you are using anything with rubber, anything that you see around, that gentleman, 16 years of work, not quitting. And when he really thought about quitting, the universe came back to help him back. You know what? Enough is enough. Let me give you what you want. Now these are the stories that we hear every time from everywhere. After all, universe is made of stories, not atoms. Take inspiration from these stories. Pump yourself. There will be always moments of failure. That's where you have to have those people to put your head on the shoulder. And when you have these things in place, I think nothing stops you. But in between, I haven't talked anything about purpose. So it's only about a passion until now. For the first time, I was introduced to purpose in 2014 October. What happened in 2014 October? On October 12th. If you are from these both states, you might remember. Hudhud cyclone happened. For me, a cyclone is a cyclone which, because I have never seen a disastrous cyclone in my life at least. So I thought cyclone is just winds and then rain and then it goes away. For the first time, a cyclone happened close to me in a city which is very dear to me, where my brother is studying in the same college now. And then I realized on TV that, you know what? Everything that was standing is now fallen. There is no road, there is no food, there is nothing left, and everyone was struggling. I thought, it's okay, people will figure out a way. Anyway, Chandrababu Naidu just became a CM, he'll figure out a way. But then I got a call from my brother. And I don't have food to eat. No money from the ATM machines. And everything is at least 10 times the cost. What do I do? I don't know. So as a brother, I said, I'll go somehow because I'm already habituated to hitchhiking and bring him out. With that purpose, I started on 12th of October in the afternoon from Hyderabad in Madhapur. But when I started, I did one good thing. I posted on Facebook, I'm starting to Vizag to get my brother. If you have something to give to people there, I'm happy to take. Maybe 2-3 boxes what I expected. By evening, I got a truckload of material to take to Vizag. I don't have a truck yet. Next minute, I got a call from someone saying, you know what, I'll send you a truck now. This is a cinema hero this time. So I started my journey here in the truck. On the way, I was checking my phone. My phone is still 1100. So I get these notifications only. I can't see what is happening. And the network is poor. So people keep calling me. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? There's no live location there. So everywhere I go, there's a stop. People come, they drop material, we go forward. Ideally, it's 8 hour to 10 hour if you really go fast on a car. If you're going in a lorry, maybe 18 to 20 hour journey. I took 48 hours to go there because there was so much material coming from everywhere. And everyone who have left Vizag wanted to join the journey and help being a volunteer. So these people were also joining us in the journey. When we entered the Tuni area, 100 kilometers outskirts of Vizag, where exactly the impact started, there's no electricity from there. We are a convoy of lorries and cars. We said, okay, we'll go to the city. We were already the CM relief team reached out to us. They said, you know what, you collected a lot of material. Why don't you leave that at airport, and that's where the collector will take care of it. We went to the airport. By the time we reached the airport, there's already so many trucks with material and no one to take care of it because there were no volunteers, there were no people. I said, no, this is not going to happen like this. How? A friend called. In fact, there was no network then. But luckily, BSNL was working for the first time. A friend called. Said, I have a huge godown, come here. We went. Next minute, I got a call from 600 volunteers. They came. Next minute, I got a call from Hyderabad Software Association saying that, you know what, we have two huge cargoes waiting there, no one to take care of. Would you like to take care of it? Come. 22 days, 9 truck material, 600 volunteers, close to 150 kilometers of radius, relief material, scavenging, medical supplies, and parallel intelligence to the Chief Minister there. And that's not the best part yet. The best part is 23rd October is Diwali. This cyclone, when it came in, it came with a lot of salt water, salt air in the breeze. And that made all the leaves on the hills and everywhere dry. There's so many trees fallen, dried. All of them assembled in huge grounds right at the centers of the populated areas. A spark can fire the whole city. In the morning, kids were working on the beach road, taking out the sand. We walked in, said, no more crackers. The campaign went so damn viral, the chief minister banned the crackers. We heard of a story where a small pawn shop guy was arrested because he was selling the pistol. For the first time. So this lesson for me was about not passion, not about anything else. When you don't know your purpose in life, but when you are introduced to that, how big can it become? So these were two big lessons in my life. The passion, the purpose. Now with the right attitude, if you go forward with them, I think there is no term called failure. As long as you sleep happily at the end of the day. So that's where I earned my journey. Thank you for listening to that. Questions, please.
Did you evacuate your brother?
So many brothers and sisters. We got support from Morningstar Travels. They took people on a post-paid trip. So you can get on the bus, get down wherever you want, whichever city you want, and pay us there. And we reached out to so many girls stuck in the hostels without enough material, especially sanitary material. We reached out to so many mothers. In fact, there were stories of pregnant women getting stuck with no method to move forward. And there were people who have rescued them. So amazing stories. Amazing stories. And it took 1 week to retrieve electricity back to the city. For 1 week, when we were doing all of this, no electricity, no phones, no charging, no network. In fact, that's when Chandrababu Naidu took the SIM card and threw it right down in front of the CEO of Airtel. Right in front of him. Saying that, you know what, this is bullshit. That was the time. But people made it all go out like this. Amazing work. Any other question? No questions at all? Just sinking in? One thing I would like to leave you with. I'm not a great reader, but sometimes I read, and when I read, I get the right things up, luckily. This is a Sanskrit paragraph that I found. Yatha drustis tatha manah. Yatha manah tatha bhavah. Yatha bhavas yatha yatnah. Yatha yatnat tatha phalam. With a great meaning. Yatha drustis tatha manah. Wherever your vision goes, wherever you see, whatever you see things, that's where your mind goes. Yatha manah tata bhavaha. Wherever your mind goes, that's where your emotion follows. Yatha bhava tata yatnaha.